Hi, Gadget UK here again. A short Christmas extra on Terminator 2 No Fate. Why you should care about this game. Should you get this game? I actually think it's a really good game, and it's an interesting milestone, if you like. It's a bit short in some ways, but having said that, I haven't completed it yet. It was created by Bitmap Bureau and published by Reef Entertainment. They may have recently bought Bitmap Bureau, I'm honestly not sure. I was expecting to see Matt's name on the list of developers, but, well, it seems like Mike Tucker was primary, developer and director and stuff on that. But Quang, you'd be familiar with Quang. He's a collector of systems like myself, but he's got so many systems, and he's a developer. He's done Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games, maybe ones for other platforms and stuff as well. But he's fairly well known in the retro gaming scene for having a huge collection of pristine examples of systems all boxed. And like I say, he's a developer himself. And the art for this game, which has been lovely created, it really has. The animation, all of the pixel art's just incredible on this, was Henk Nyborg. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, it might be Nyborg. Anyway, yeah, Bitmap Bureau have done a great job again. They created Xeno Crisis. I've covered that on my channel a number of times. I've got the SNES version of that to look at soon. I'm still waiting for my AES board to come back from Bitmap Bureau. I don't know what's happened to that. It went to Matt. I hope Matt's not left, because he's got my graphics board. Anyway, we'll cover that in another video soon. But right from the start here, you can see it sounds and looks absolutely incredible. If you're a fan of the original Terminator 2 film, then this is a must purchase, really. It might still be on special offer at the moment or over the Christmas period. It's not obviously as expensive as a full sort of AAA title, but it pays homage to the film. It's a love letter. I've heard that mentioned a few times by a few people, and that's the first thing I thought. It's a love letter to the Terminator 2 franchise. So yeah, if you get any love for the Terminator 2 franchise, you really want to get this game. I think there were 12 levels initially, but once you unlock some of the additional modes and things, from completing it, maybe on a harder difficulty, you might need straight S's, for example, to unlock some stuff. Bitmap Bureau are good at doing that, adding lots of unlockable modes, and there are a few different modes to unlock, a number of different difficulties. You can maybe unlock a hard difficulty if you go on the hardest difficulty, but there's just so many little things that are worth unlocking on something like this. And as I play through this here, just briefly, you can see there are some secret areas and things like that. The bosses are really cool on each of the different sections, certainly as you get further into the game. I can't remember where it is, but somewhere on the menu you can go in and out of the different characters, look at the different characters, the sprites for the game, it tells you a little bit about the backstory and stuff, and you can do that for each of them. So there's quite a lot, it's like a compendium type thing you can go into. Like you get in many games where you can, just look at all the different characteristics of a character and see, the artwork behind them and stuff. That's quite cool. And there may be other things that you unlock as you unlock the different parts of the game, I don't know. But, I played this only on 3 or 4 occasions so far, and I've enjoyed it every single time. Granted, I've been playing it on the easier difficulty, the default one, I think. It might be the middle one. I would suggest, if you want much more of a challenge and for it to take longer to get through it, put it straight on the hardest difficulty. I haven't played it on the hardest difficulty, so I don't know how much harder it is on the harder difficulty. But it's really good. I am thrilled to bits to being able to purchase this, and I have purchased this. It's not a review copy, I haven't been donated this or anything like that. It's my own purchase, that I bought just before Christmas, the day it came out. I was eager to get this. You could get some of the collector's editions and things. There's a special pack where you get loads of extra stuff. You can get it on the PlayStation, as I've got here, PS4. You can get it on the Xbox, Series, and Xbox One maybe. PlayStation 4, I'm playing it on here. So PS5, I think you can get it on the Switch. You can get it on PC through Steam. Why would you care about this? Well, not only if you're a fan of Terminator, but it's what this has done, really. It shows that where there's love for an old license like this, that there's a way to make something amazing. Bitmap Bureau have done what maybe all those companies in the 80s and 90s couldn't do. And you can argue maybe the technology wasn't there, but I'll bet this game, the way it is at the moment, could more or less be ported to things like the Mega Drive, the Neo Geo certainly, maybe even the Amiga. I don't see why not. certainly things like the N64 and the SNES maybe. So, you know, there's so many of those systems that this game could backport to, and Bitmap Euro generally seem to do that. You get a great game like this and then port it to the other retro systems, and it kind of makes sense really to push it out to something like the PlayStation and Xbox, you know, first of all, Switch. And then maybe, fingers crossed, we might see it pushed to some of those other systems. Game Boy Advance being another one. But it's the love of the licensing that has pulled me towards this, and why I think it's worth purchasing. Because if they can do that with this, what else can they do? There's so many other things out there they could do this with. I mean, like some of the Batman licenses, or, you know, RoboCop. We've seen RoboCop being, you know, reloved recently, you know, in recent years on the PC, and you know what, that came out really well. I haven't played very much of that yet, but again, it shows a lot of love for the original license, and again, it's something that you haven't seen in other AAA titles and things since, even from huge companies with lots and lots of money. So I think Bitmap Euro, the size of them, the size of the development team, they've done an amazing job with this and put a ton, I can't emphasize how much of a ton, you know, an infinite amount of love into this game. The animation is so fluid, it follows the story really well, and that's the other key thing for this really for me, is that many of the licensed games don't do that. They, you know, approximate, they only cover a few certain aspects of the movie title or whatever, you know, like certain scenes, and then that's it. This covers so many different scenes of the story and follows the story really well, with some additional bits, you know, to, you know, fill out the game to make it a bit more, more content, basically. The boss fights are really cool. The sound effects are amazing. The music is incredible as well. I haven't put any adverts on this because it's probably going to get copyrighted by, I'm not sure who, but it is a review. Please remember that, this is a review. I'm not putting any monetization on this video. The monetization may not go on my future videos anyway. I mentioned that in a previous video. Anyway, check out the links down below for Steam, but you can get this on PlayStation, on Xbox, on Switch, and watch this space other platforms moving forward. So if you want something to do over the Christmas period, it's not very expensive at the moment. Take a look at it and see if it's the sort of thing you'd like to play through. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video.